Good evening. This is B-Jax with the Common Corner. Today is January 7th, 2017. Good evening, everyone. Today, I want to talk about some things that are difficult to talk about, and particularly with black people. We don't like to talk about our leadership. We have a history of leaders in this country um, that basically mass majority would say that they were pioneers or they were soldiers, warriors, etc., so forth and so forth. But let's actually take a closer look at what our leadership has brought us to and what we're doing today. Let's look at leadership such as, let's start with Martin Luther King. Um, there was a struggle where Martin Luther King wanted equal rights for all black people, and so forth and so forth. In the Constitution at the time, I believe they supported that equal but separate. Okay, so that means that you had the white bathroom to go to, and you had the black bathroom to go to. Okay, you had white schools, you had black schools. Okay, you had white businesses, and then you had black businesses. Okay, now let's remember during these times when during segregation, there wasn't any black on black crimes, and if they were very, um, they were crime because black people live around black people, white people live around white people, and the same will go for any other ethnic group. They live around each other, so quite simply, they would be killing and murdering each other. So yes, there was some black on black crimes during these times, but there was sort of a unity with these people during that generation. That unity, family, soul, struggle. Black families were strong then. Um, and then we came to the integration. Okay, and some would say that Martin Luther King was a great man. He did this. He did many things. But if we were to put an equation on the board, one plus one will always equal two. So we're going to add these variables, and then we'll look at what it is equal to. So we went from segregation to um, desegregation. So now you have to look at how the economy changed, how the black family changed, and how black people changed. During that time, once again, just doing before the struggle was, we'll call the civil rights era, where Martin Luther King started doing the marches and so forth and so forth. There were always civil rights leaders. There were always people, black people, that were trying to better black people's situations, whether it be lobbying, letters, newspapers, so forth and so forth. So there were always black people that wanted to see us on an equal playing field. So I guess when let's look at Martin Luther King, we look at here where we're trying to integrate into a society that really doesn't want us. So if 90% of the black people were saying no, I'm sorry, as you were, if 90% of the white people were saying no at that time, let's drop it down to 70 or 80, okay? Either way, it's still a majority of the people that did not want to integrate. Okay, they did not. So who is saying this? Who is saying to integrate? Black people had their own businesses. Black people had their own properties. A lot of things that black people had. And once again, we did not have the black on blind. I'm sorry, the black on black crime as we have now. We did not have the mass incarceration due to crack cocaine and other drugs and so forth that we have now. Basically, it almost appears that through Martin Luther King, we had given our young to the beast. And what I mean by the beast, I mean by the way of the world. Drugs, sex, all the things that may be considered inappropriate. I'm not saying that sex is inappropriate, but, having sex with several partners and not being protected, those type of things. Morality issues. I think that's what I wanted so much to get to. The morality level had gone down once we began to integrate, i.e., the father worked his way out of the home. There was no protection because we depended on the system. The system never supported us before. We depended on affirmative action. And I do recall we had our own universities. We depended on all the things to integrate with white people. I guess freedom would be the standard of life, but were white people actually the standard of people? So as we went from being from segregation, um, we wanted to do the things that white people did. We wanted to smoke their cigarettes. We wanted to go to the clubs and do the things that they did. We had our own things. Where black people were thriving, the black community was thriving, the money was being passed over several times within the black community, so they were able to do things such as have movie theaters, markets, where there were places where they bought clothing, shoes, and so forth. Black people had some sort of financial income or financial stability. So then we moved over and were handed over to a system that did not really appreciate us as people, but more so used us for our labor. Okay, then you look today. You have Jesse Jackson. You have all these leaders that were reverent. They're now leaders, or they were leaders, but did not steer the black people in the right direction. Our leaders as are who would put us in this situation that we are now. Let's look today, 2017. Who are your leaders? Who is on your block right now having anything to say about what's going on? Who cares about your young where they are at night? And because we have no black leaders, we also have no black men in their homes. Let's think about that for a second. It's almost it's normal now to have a home where there's no man involved. There's no man involved in anything that's said or anything that's done. Mom wants to have the kids, but she doesn't want to have the responsibility of actually teaching them, actually caring for them, and ensuring that they're going to be a decent person in this community. Meanwhile, the black man today is the product of that single mom. His essentials to live are gone. He did not learn anything from the pride of the home, which should have been his father. There's certain qualities and things that he did not learn from his father. Now there are certain situations where you have a coach, you have an uncle, there is some strong man or person that is around to teach. But in most situations, that's not the situation. These kids are left at home to do whatever and whenever. No supervision. Having sex just whenever they want to. And this is what's causing the teenage pregnancy. There's already no communication between that mother and those children. A lot of times that kid is had for a check, or for some money or stability, a place to live. So now we have gone from a community to now where we just have a group, and this is what they do in America. You get grouped off now. You get different groups. So they're where they used to be, and see, per group is money. Every group that is situated, every group that is created is considered a stem of cash for the capital industry. And let me break that down for you a little bit, okay? Where you had a family, where you had a man and a woman together, they can only sell you one thing, maybe, most likely because the family will utilize that one item. Well, if you break that up, that could be two items. So once again, that's a different group or different demographic that will be focused on Christmas. That's just an example of what I'm trying to say. So now you have a single mom who, let's say she gets assistance or has a check or whatever, or she's getting child support. Boom, that's a group. So there'll be certain things that will be geared to that mom to keep her in that situation so that she will continue to be of retail value. Okay? So what I'm saying is that our leadership has put us in a situation that where we are vulnerable. Nobody's saying anything. No black man in the home. So let's focus on that. What is he doing? Why isn't the black man in the home? Is he just scared? Is he just irresponsible? Or does he honestly feel that being with this woman, he may lose his life? I.e., baby daddy drama, jealous boyfriends. When you have a woman with no moral values, what you're gonna get is you're gonna get a woman that has several partners, okay, and they're gonna depend on where she lives to have a place to stay, or just depend on her anywhere, however, because she's getting a check, she's getting something. So that person's only gonna come around when it's time to, when it's time to generate some type of fund to get a gift or to get something purchased for them or something like that. This is what you're dealing with. This is the man that's in most of these neighborhoods, and they're procreating, and they're having babies, and and this is what happens. And there's no direction or instructions in these neighborhoods, and what that equals to is crime. All in cities all over the country, there's lack of jobs. But with lack of faith and lack of discipline or morality that will be taught in a home, a child or a young man or a young woman would be susceptible to crime. So, i.e., this is your mass incarceration that we have now. This lust for things now and not wanting to wait or work for them is what gets us into this mass incarceration. Because once again, there's no leadership. There's no man in the home to give proper instruction to the kids. Therefore, mass incarceration. And honestly, to tell you the truth, the black woman right now, I don't know what the hell is going on. Because, and let me be certain when I say this, I'm not talking about all black women. Okay, so don't put yourself in this category if you know that you're doing the things you're supposed to do and you're doing all you can for your family and who you are as a person. Don't put yourself in this category, but there are some women that are guilty of this, and this is who I'm talking about. They don't know if they're coming backwards or forwards. They can't make their mind up. They definitely can't listen to any instructions from a man. It's like something is wrong. Like something is wrong. They can't listen to a man without getting upset or having an issue with anything that he's saying. They can't follow instructions from anyone. They're loud. They're disrespectful. They're disrespectful to men. They get up in men's faces. They point in men's faces. They get loud. What type of woman is that? Now, some will say that's a strong woman that needs a strong black man. But I can't imagine a man that wants to have to deal with something like that every day. Being disrespectful. Like how do you heal this animal? How do you heal it? You have to beat it? Well, then that means you don't need to be with that black man. Black man, you shouldn't be with any woman that you feel that you have to beat, push, slap, or anything physical to get her attention. Because if that's what you have to do, that means you may need to go. Because that'll find yourself in jail as well. And that'll find yourself out of the house. So once again, I just wanted to talk about, our black leadership, and where is it? Some think Obama is a black leader. Well, I say he's certainly a man of color, but I wouldn't consider him an African American or a black man that has been a descendant of slaves. This is why he could get in the White House and he can do the things that he do, which was nothing for you. And white people would get confused with that into thinking that black people are in charge. So when he signs off on homosexuality, being able to marry one another, and sides with all those things that are totally against procreation. So it must be against God. They're thinking that's black man did that. And then they're thinking that they did this. So tricks are being played on us all day. And our leaders are getting paid for it. That's where your leaders are. That's where your generals are. That's where your sergeants, your lieutenants. They're all getting paid. They're all in the NFL. And I'm not here to damn them. This is just a fact. This is just reality. All the people that's here to guide you and to lead you are being paid. They're being paid to restrain what needs to be said to rise a people. So if anybody's looking at TV and you're looking at BET all day, you're going to see Negroes dressed up, looking good. We're looking good. Making the black American, African American look good on TV. Making him look like he's a star, superstar, millionaire. And that everything is okay. What are they complaining about? They make millions of dollars. What are those black people mad about? Look, hey, they're doing good. They have black entertainment. Oh, by the way, it's not owned by a black man or black people. So what do you think they're going to put on that channel? And then we have leaders that will cower or do things and say things just for the sake of black women. Now, I don't even, like I said, once again, all black women are not the same. So I'm not here trying to generalize. Well, I am generalizing black women, but the point that I'm trying to make is that all black women are guilty of this. But there is a majority that are. And you know who you are. So there's no need to comment on here saying anything negative that I'm saying about black women, because black women do negative things, just like black men do negative things. And those are the ones that I'm talking about. The black men that are doing negative things and the black women. So don't come at me talking about what black women do, because I know what they do. And back to my subject. These leaders are getting paid, man. Paid good money. This is why you got drugs in your community. This is why you have crackheads. Because you have leaders in churches that don't say anything. They turn a blind eye to this every day. They know who's selling the drugs. They know where the drugs are coming in from, but they won't say anything. But you keep going to this church. And that's another thing about black people. They don't read. They don't research. So they don't know. They just go by what people say. And one of those things that we've been guilty of as black people, period, is Christianity. I mean, if you're going to be a Christian and say you're a Christian, then read the whole Bible. Don't just read what you want to read, because that's what's going on. People read what they want to read, and whatever pacifies them and makes them feel good, that's the part they'll stick to. And this is the problem that we have. Because our leaders don't say anything. They turn a blind eye. They get on TV and say that another black man is wrong for taking a knee. A knee. For the national anthem. Which, by the way, the third verse is racist. It speaks towards slaves that fought with the British, that were trying to kill some of these white people. And that first verse was a backlash towards them, oh, you'll never ever overcome. But this is our national anthem. This is how they slide things up on our nose to offend us on a day-to-day basis. It's almost like there's an invisible finger that's in your face at all times. And you're not looking because you're trying to move ahead. But all the while, it's just still there. All our black leaders, man. Where are they? Some have tried. But where are they today? Is Clarence Thomas a black leader? Are you a leader just because you wear a suit? Look at all these guys that sit there on CNN. And it's always a petition to be seen fair by white people. This whole thing is about trying to uplift to a quota that's given down by white people. When all black people have to do is use a little discipline. I guarantee you, if you don't buy anything from that Chinese store or that carry out, if you don't buy a goddamn thing, black man, it will close. Black man, if you didn't buy a goddamn Nike or Jordan, it overnight, they wouldn't sell it. They could. I mean, it would just stop, cease to exist. Black man, if you just went 30 days without doing a crime, the government will have to shut down, start laying off police officers. And the point that I'm trying to make is that it's certain things that we can do. But now your black leaders talk about doing those type of things. They don't talk about, okay, well, since Donald Sterling feels this way about our black generals, our black leaders that happen to work for him, who he has made millionaires, we just won't go to no more Clipper games. We won't buy no more Clipper stuff. But we don't do that. All the while, we sit here day after day and night after night, wondering why the world isn't fair, wondering why the white people don't love us, wondering why they won't treat us right, why they don't give us jobs, when the whole time we have an answer to ourselves. Control what we buy. Because we can make each other millionaires one by one. Control what we buy and control what we do together. But you have these so-called leaders, man, and ain't none of them saying anything that's really, they just say the same thing every day. Vote, vote, vote. Did you know it's only 12% of you? That's right. It's only 12% of you. And 77% white people. And the rest is anybody else. So what vote are you going to win? Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. I hope that I was able to make a little bit of sense. I'm still working on getting better at my dissertations, so forgive me. And once again, I just want to share this information with black people. Once again, my fight, hey, the white people, they're going to do what they have to do so they can survive. But I just want to talk to black people to wake us up so we can start treating each other better, start viewing each other better, start talking to each other better. Even if you don't agree with what I'm saying, it is what it is. But I'm not going to sit here and break you down and degrade you, and call you all kinds of niggas and all of that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Because on a whole nother level, if you don't agree with what I'm saying, hey, keep it moving. I'll keep it moving. This is on my channel. But as a whole, we do need to collaborate on certain things. And guess what we all do as a whole? Have the opportunity to hold a dollar in our hand. So we can control that dollar. We can control a lot of things. We can believe in a lot of different things. But if we can all just control that dollar, where we go, who we give it to, when we give it to, for what purpose that we want to give it to, we can get what we want. But when we take our dollar and we just, we're irresponsible with it, and at the end of the day, you want to know why you don't have money to pay rent, or you want to know why, things just aren't the way they are, is because your leadership, man. Your leadership is not putting things in place to help you. Look at Obama, man. He fooled me. Yeah, I admit. He fooled me. I did vote for Obama. Because I thought, the same way. Yeah, he black man. Yeah, he gonna get in office. Then I started to realize that he's not African American. So he's never been through any of the things that we have gone through. He didn't even live in this country or grew up or went to a goddamn public school down the block. So he wouldn't know what you go through, black man. So when you keep hearing, You know, from the other side, that rhetoric about, you know, black people this and black people that, that's not us, man. We don't have no control of nothing. Only thing we have control over is what little money we have and who is around us. And if we work with that, we will survive. And we'll get what we want. And we'll be happy in our neighborhoods. But we'll be able to control who comes in our neighborhoods and buy what. All right, thank you very much, YouTube. If you like it, go ahead and give me thumbs up. Please leave a comment. Once again, this is meant to be positive. I'm not here to knock any of our leaders, because hey, they black too, and I'm sure they try to do the best that they could. But we have to look at where we are right now. Thank you, and have a good day.